All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is October 9th. It is a Monday and it is Columbus Day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today, Columbus Day is an interesting day because all banks are closed, most schools are closed, and yet the markets are open. And we will talk about this here in a moment. But let's see who here wants to make money with trading. Come on, type in a yes in the chat box. Exactly. And who here wants to make so much money with trading that you can travel the world and live the lifestyle you always dreamed about? Absolutely. Yeah, come on, type in a yes. Let's see it. How many of you want to get as much as possible out of our time together today? Yes, 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 because I want that for you. See, for most of you who are here with us today, this is going to be a long-term relationship between us, I promise you, because once I show you how simple this is, once I show you an easy way to trade, once you realize that this actually works, and once you realize that you can do this too, you will want to hang out with me for a lifetime. I promise you that. All right, so let's see what is going on here this week. First of all, let's bring up our trusted calendar of forexfactory.com. Take a look of what's happening this week. Again, no reports today. Today in the United States, it is Columbus Day. And again, it's one of these very weird holidays where banks are closed, schools are closed, post offices are probably closed too, but the markets are open. Anyhow, with no reports, and I expect some light trading today, what we'll see. So tomorrow we have, this week is busy for the FOMC members. You see, we have them speaking tomorrow. We have them speaking then on Wednesday. We have the meeting minutes. On Thursday, we have more FOMC members speaking. On Friday, more of them speaking. So it's a busy week for the Feds, that's for sure. So also no other reports tomorrow, but on Wednesday then we have the JOLTS job openings. So rather new report, but people are starting paying attention to this. On Thursday, PPI and unemployment claims, and then of course the crude oil inventories. So Friday, CPI, core retail sales and retail sales. So that's the bigger one this Friday. But as you can see, overall, a pretty light week when it comes to reports. So let's get this out of the way. Let's take a look at the markets this morning. The E-mini S&P, the E-mini Nasdaq, and the E-mini Dow. Again, all slightly up. Last week was an almost perfect week of records. We made new record highs every single day, but Friday. So Friday we had a small pullback, as you can see here. So this Friday session. But this morning it seems that the indices are marching again, and that the indices are here trying to make new record highs today. Crude oil slightly up here this morning, up 0.5%, but still not above 50. So crude oil struggling with the 50 mark. You might have heard it. There's a new hurricane that made landfall in Louisiana, and they shut down all the refineries in the Gulf Coast. But it seems that thus far there's minor damage. At least that's what they're reporting. So all the refineries will come back online here today. We have gold slightly up with 0.64%, and the bonds are pretty much around the unchanged mark. So this is what we see here this morning in the markets. Now, this morning I want to tackle a question that I got a couple of weeks ago, I believe. And the question is, how do you know when a trend is too extended and ready to revert? All right, let's take a look at this. And I just want to bring up any stock, doesn't really matter here. So this is a stock that I recently looked at, NTRA. It's also one of our hot stocks here in the PowerX Analyzer stock list that you have received last week for those of you who have PowerX Analyzer. And we're looking at daily bars here. So there's several ways to see whether it's extended or not. And at first, as you can imagine right now, I'm showing everything with PowerX Analyzer. But let's get rid of this here for a second and let's just take a look at the stock by itself. So let's also get rid of the coloring of the bars. And let's say you have a very simple plain stock here. Okay, So this would be the stock. And now the question is, okay, right now, as you can see, the stock is going up. How much longer will it go up? And when is the move over here? So the easiest way, a quick and dirty way, is where you can just plot the Bollinger Bands. So you simply plot the Bollinger Bands, and you can use a setting of 18 and 2. The Bollinger Bands are giving you a quick and dirty information of when a stock is overextended and not. So as you will see, in an uptrend, the upper Bollinger Band is pointing up and is leading the prices up. Now, this move is typically over when the upper Bollinger Band starts turning around. And we see this here as well. So this is when we have also an uptrend. See? And once the Bollinger Band starts flattening out or turning around, this means that the uptrend is now over. The same is true for a downtrend. So we are in a downtrend as long as we see the lower Bollinger Band going down. Once the Bollinger Band flattens out or turns around, this means that the downtrend is over. See, this is probably one of the easiest way to do it. And the beautiful thing is, if you don't have a charting software, I mean, you can do this anywhere. So you can, for example, go to finance.yahoo.com. And this is what I sometimes do. I see when I'm at a friend's house and they say, "Yeah, what do you think about this stock?" Right? So let's take a look at Amazon, for example, AMZN, and I'm just picking it here randomly. So let's bring up Amazon. Here we go. We go to the full screen for the charts. Okay, now we have here a year worth of data, and we just simply plot an indicator, and we plot an indicator with the Bollinger Bands. I like to change the setting to 18 here. And this is how we can see when it is in an uptrend. See, like here. And if you're not familiar with the line chart, we can absolutely go to bar charts, and you see, as long as the Bollinger Band is pointing up, we are in an uptrend. Once the Bollinger Band starts turning around or flattening out, this is when the move is over. So this is a quick and dirty way how to do it. Now, a more elegant way, of course, would be with the PowerX strategy that you all know, right? So looking at the PowerX strategy here, we can bring up, let me just go back here. We can bring up the stochastics, RSI, and MACD because these are our indicators that we like to use with the PowerX strategy. And this is where you see, as long as all three indicators are green, we are in an uptrend. And as soon as one of the indicators is no longer green, this means that now the trend is over. So let's color the bars here and let's see when all three indicators are green, we want to color the bars green. Let's do this first. So this is where we go. See, now you see, okay, these are the uptrends according to PowerX Analyzer. And you see that here, it is a little bit more accurate than the Bollinger Bands because it starts earlier here, right? And then especially here, we do not get the signal that the uptrend is over, it continues. So this is where PowerX Analyzer using three indicators instead of just one is a little bit more accurate here. Now, let's do the same for the downtrend. When all three indicators are red, we want to color our bars red. So we can easily do that. And this is when we see, okay, here we are in a downtrend. Here it looked like a downtrend, but that's a beautiful thing. If you're following the PowerX strategy, you know that right here, let me just, right here, you would never have gotten into the trade because in order to enter a trade, you want to make sure that the prices move below the previously established low, the low of the signal bar here. So this is why here you would have never entered the trade. The same is true right here, right? So here, for example, you see never got below the signal bar, never got below the low of the signal bar. So therefore, no trades. Only this here is a valid downtrend that we have seen. So you see, using PowerX Analyzer makes it a little bit more accurate of seeing exactly when a trend occurs or not. And you see what I've done here in this charting software, that is exactly what we have built into PowerX Analyzer. This is why I built the software, because I was getting sick and tired of all the programming. Plus, I wanted to see the beautiful data window here, and I wanted to see what exactly is it that the stock would have done if we had traded it according to the PowerX strategy. Okay, so this is how I personally know when a trend is too extended and ready to revert. Again, you can use the Bollinger Bands, or you can use PowerX Analyzer, which is more accurate. Either one is fine. Now let's switch to a different chart. So we can, for example, go to Amazon that we saw earlier. And you see here, it is very, very similar. PowerX Analyzer, I believe, is a little bit more accurate here using the PowerX strategy than just the Bollinger Bands. But Bollinger Bands are definitely a quick and dirty trick that you can use to immediately see whether a stock is going up, down, or sideways. All right, let me go back to NTRA, the stock that I was looking at. And let's see if you do have any questions. And so Douglas is asking an excellent question and say, are they not a lagging indicator? Douglas, absolutely. I mean, indicators by default are lagging, and here is why. Okay, so indicators are lagging because all indicators manipulate previous prices to tell you what the market is more likely to do. But you see, Douglas, for me, this is absolutely fine, because here's why. I have been trying to pick bottoms and tops, and I mean, it never worked for me. So here, I'm absolutely fine to get in a trend when it is forming right here. Now, could you have gotten in at this point? You know what? Highly unlikely. I don't believe that there's anything that I would have told you to get in right here into the trend very, very early. And you see, especially if we combine all these three indicators, we get a pretty early indication here of whether a trend is happening or not. And the beautiful thing is, since we are using a stop loss that is smaller than the profit target, so our profits are larger than our stop loss, we only need to be right half of the time. And you see, this is what's really important to me. Okay, when trading, there will be losses. Okay, no indicator system, whatever else you have, strategy is perfect. Okay, so just get used to it, because believe me, for years I've been trying to find the Holy Grail, and it wasn't good. So I mean, this is why right now the key is to keep your losses small, and preferably have bigger wins than losses. Because if that is the case, then you'll make money if you're wrong half of the time, which is very, very powerful. Okay, Douglas, making sense? Okay, so let's see. Kirsten is asking, does the Bollinger Band move ahead of the trend to predict the move? It looks like it moves with it. That is correct. And again, all indicators manipulate previous prices to tell you what the market is more likely to do. All indicators are basically telling you what you see on the charts. See, there are people who can just read a chart and say, oh yeah, my God, I see that it's going up right now. For others, indicators are great crutches. They're like training wheels to tell you what a market is moving. And you see, this is why, for me, indicators are working perfectly here. All right, and Kevin says, no need to catch the first bar of a move when you can catch the majority of the move with PowerX. Kevin, exactly, that's it, right? So it's not about squeezing out the last tick. It is making sure that you catch nice moves, and this is what we see here. We see a nice move here, 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 and that's exactly that we want to do. Douglas, how about Ishimoku? Do you like it? You see, Douglas, I have tried to trade with Ichimoku for several months, actually. I've tried to do it. It didn't work for me. Now, again, Douglas, this does not mean that it doesn't work at all. It's like chart patterns. You see, some people prefer candlesticks. And I've tried candlesticks. My problem is that I see all the candlestick patterns once they're over. I don't see them when they're forming live in the markets. And you see, with Ichimoku, also for me personally, it was not as reliable as what I'm using here right now. So this is why I am using these three indicators, stochastics, RSI, and MACD, and then I combine them to get the highest probability here. And as Kevin said, I mean, I want to capture the most of the move because, again, it doesn't matter whether using Ichimoku candlesticks, you will have false signals, right? There will be false signals. Okay. So this is where I say find something that helps you to make it easy, because the most important thing when trading is you need to make a decision in a split second. You need to make sure that right now, when you look at the chart, do you want to be in a stock or not? And you see right now for me, yes, I would like to be long in the stock. Once I see a black bar, I know that now the trend is over and this is how I want to exit. So that's pretty much it. All right, guys. Now, this was an exciting session here about tackling the question, how do you know when a trend is too extended and ready to revert? And we talked about indicators. You can use one indicator, the quick and dirty indicator, which are the Bollinger Bands, or you use my favorite indicator, stochastics, RSI, and MACD, combine them, and this is when you have the Power X strategy, right? Keep in mind that all indicators manipulate previous prices, so therefore all indicators will be lagging. There will be false signals no matter what indicator you use. And again, I have been trying to find the holy grail, the magic indicator, and I must say it never existed. Anyhow, hope that helps. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning for Coffee with Marcus. All right. Have a terrific day, and I'll see you then. Take care.